Welcome back. My name is Steve.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve, and this is Streaming Things, streaming The Last of Us Season 2. Oh my god, you guys, Andy's back! Hey.
He's here. He's here.
Look at him go. Look at him go. He's married now. Ladies, you can't touch. Guys, you can't touch.
But you can look if you want.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Happy congratulations.
Happy congratulations to me. Yeah, man. I got married. It's exciting.
How was it?
Dude, it was so cool. Curacao. We went to Curacao. We had a Caribbean wedding. It was unbelievable. The setup was beautiful. It was on the beach. The weather was perfect. The sun sets there at like 7:30.
Wow.
So it was like perfect mood lighting. Like right after the ceremony, we had these incredible sunset photos. Our shout out to Omar and Orji. Those were our two Turkish photographers that expats that moved to Curacao to pursue their dreams of photography. They kicked ass. The photos are unbelievable. We had a miniature Cirque du Soleil show at one point. It was nuts. There were fire spinners and they were doing like playing dramatic music. And this one dude was like covered in like grease and he was like holding up fire to himself. And then he was spinning poi. And then another dude had this big, cube that was lit up on the corners and he was spinning that on his chin and stuff. It was unbelievable. It was so fun.
That sounds like such a great time.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I mean, I got married. My wife is pretty cool. So it's pretty fun to say my wife.
She is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, buddy. I'm
Thanks,
so happy for you guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hang out with you too.
I am happy to be home. You know, I had a great time out there.
What, like
week and a half?
Week and a half?
Yeah. So I'm happy I got home and my grass was 1.5 feet high and I had.
Yeah, it rained almost constantly while you were gone.
Oh yeah. I have like insane water damage, like in my kitchen from water seepage coming through a chimney or something. I'm like, oh, real life comes quick. Oh, my check engine light came on my wet drive over here. I'm like, sweet. No. This is real life coming back with a vengeance.
Hey, that guy seems pretty happy. We got Papa's bubble.
Get him. There's just like a crowd of birds waiting outside to shit on me when I walk outside.
There he is.
Yeah, but I'm happy to be back, man.
Well, I'm happy you're back. Kit is still gone. Mm-hmm. He went to the wedding with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sure was. He was my best man.
And but he came home, but before we could record again, he went off on another adventure. And I think I can say it publicly now. I've been skirting around it, but Kit's going to the Cannes Film Festival in France. Cannes. So he flew out there yesterday, and he's gonna be out there for a week. So he's gonna be gone for another week, I believe. But he's doing really cool things, and we hope the best for him out there. He's gonna be. I think K-Stu's gonna be debuting her directorial debut out there.
Oh, snap.
And maybe he'll be perceived once more.
That's awesome.
By the patron saint herself. Speaking of fun, we're here to review episode 5 of season 2, Last of Us, titled Feel Her Love.
To make you feel her love.
But before we do, just a quick reminder, save the date, November 7th. That's our next live show. Tickets are not on sale yet. I will let you know. We're still working out details with the ticket place, but it should be soon. Last of Us merch is available in the merch store. Go check it out and buy you some. We're covering Andor on Wednesday. Phil and I are doing that together. And you can always, of course, see more great content from Streaming Things at patreon.com/streamingthings, where we're doing a variety of tiers, including ad-free episodes. So if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I sure do hate all these ads. Great news. There's something you can do about that.
Yeah.
But if you can't, we know it's a weird, crazy time financially for a lot of people. Just give us 5 stars. That's great. That's all we need.
That's all we need.
But with that out of the way, Andy.
Yes.
I want to know your overall thoughts for this episode.
So my overall thoughts for this episode 5, Feel Her Love. I think that this is a phenomenal episode. I think that it's perfectly self-contained. There is a fantastic setup and payoff. And I love it when an episode does that and it feels like its own distinct thing, where it's like we had a little story that we wanted to tell and also we moved the plot forward in some meaningful ways, you know, with the introduction of, oh, Jesse and Tommy followed us this whole time. And, you know, we got to see like Ellie and Dina show up, make it to the place, start to do the thing and fail immediately. And it's like seeing that play out on screen of like, oh my God, they're gonna fucking die. And last moment being saved by what looks like Joel, but obviously isn't. It's Jesse. Was super cool. I love the portrayals of the Scars, the Seraphites, how cultish they are, and I love the way that they're kind of playing with how religion in general, the message of love and togetherness can become warped over time. And this was presumably just somebody that was not a prophet, but it was just a good Samaritan that was out there saying like, hey guys, let's stop robbing and killing each other and let's try to have a good life. And they're like, heard that. Anyway, she died 20 years ago. Now we're going to murder people and rip them open like a zipper on a bad jacket and see what's inside. And then we can feel her love.
This is the worst pinata ever.
The main dude that was doing the we need to make her feel the love sounded like
the Seraphite priest.
Yeah,
priest
dude, he sounded like this mix between like David Attenborough and Bane. It was fucking awesome.
I was like saying like, man, I wish they would replace that guy with Forrest Whitaker from Rogue One. We need to see what's inside you. Like,
yeah, dude, seriously.
Oh, I have missed you, girl.
I think also the ways that Ellie and Dina were kind of playing off each other were really sweet and charismatic and fun. Like the little like, oh, good, I brought a protractor with me. It's like, oh, you did? No, I don't even know what that is. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, that shit was awesome.
What was her line like? I'm not stupid. No, you're not. You're non-school oriented.
Yeah, exactly. This episode also had some awesome action. We got some more stalker action, ramped up a bit.
Awesome. Yeah.
We got some intense body horror with the Seraphite murder sequence and stuff. And I think that this kind of felt like, a point of no return for Ellie on her revenge journey, where with the way that the episode ends and going hard on Nora and stuff, it was intense and fantastically done. Set design was unbelievable. Yeah, good soup, as Adam Driver would say.
I'm not as high as you were on this episode. I've been thinking about it a lot since last night because I've seen the episode twice. The first time I watched it, I was like, I don't think I cared for that very much. Watched it again, didn't hate it as much the second time because I was able to like kind of let go of because again, I have my own biases leading into this show that I'm very well aware of, and I'm trying to like work my way through them and be like, oh, the show's its own thing. I need to respect the show for the thing it's trying to do. But in this episode, I'm feeling like the show's running into some unforced errors that are being caused by the decisions that they've made with how they want the show to be. And it's not to say like they're overall bad. I think if you take the show for what it is, it's fine. But knowing what the story is in a different medium, it's like, oh man, it's so much better over here than over there, at least in this particular instance. While I'm like super happy that the spores are finally back because I fucking love spores. I was so excited. Like, yes, they're doing the spores.
You're team spore?
I'm team spores all the way, man. I'm not super into the tendril mouth zombies.
Now we got both.
Which is good. I mean, more is better. Right?
Absolutely.
I was just happy to see the spores. It was kind of confusing. Like, well, now there's these spores. No one's ever seen them before. Seal them up and no one get gas masks and prepare for this. It was just kind of an odd thing to think about, but like that's not a big deal. But my biggest issue, I think, after watching it the second time, I think there's a script writing pacing issue with the show that's really detrimental, and that is, I think the individual scenes that happen, like Dina and Ellie in the theater, Dina and Ellie in the stalker. The big fucking somewhere, the Seraphite scene, and then the like. These scenes individually are good, right? It's the connective tissue between them that I feel is forced and not organic. Like they don't get from one place to the other in an organic enough way for me. Like there's a scene where Dina comes clear, and on paper I really like this, where Dina says, "This is how my mom and sister died." And she recontextualizes it by the end of the conversation to say, this is why I'm like here to support you, because if I had the chance to kill the person that killed my family, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. I would hunt them to the ends of the earth. And that's why I'm going to help you out. It's just as much she cares for Joel herself, but also she cares for Ellie and her revenge tour. And she believes in it, right? But it's just how they got to that moment felt weird, where they see these Seraphites and she's like, do you want to know how my mom died? It was very just like, oh, we're talking about this.
Oh, was that right after the graffiti and stuff?
Yeah.
The feel this, bitch, or whatever it was.
Oh man, the grammatical format of that graffiti makes me laugh so hard. Lowercase feel, all uppercase this, comma, all lowercase bitch. I laughed really hard at that one. That was funny.
Yeah, the set designer is a big grammar fan.
Yeah, we got to put a comma in here. But you know what I mean? Like, they got to it. They got to where they needed to get to. But I don't think how they got to was as organic or as clean as I would have liked. They just like did this hard pivot that was like, oh, we're talking about this thing. That's a weird choice. Oh, we're actually talking about this instead. And it's just like the connective tissue between these different setups have that feeling of, wait, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing this. And like they land the plane, but it always starts off in a very disjointed way, at least for me.
I hear that. There was one little scene when they got to the big fucking somewhere where they're in a hallway, and the scene is, I mean, it's not like super long. It's maybe 20, 30 seconds, but that's significant for any episode of television, where they just hesitate in the hallway and Dina's like listening, and then they keep going.
She pressed R1.
And that, right. Exactly. Everything turned black and white, and we're listening around. It got a little blurry, but nothing happened. And so my notes just say, what was that scene? Like, why was that there? Because then it cuts to them like coming through a door, and now they're creeping and crawling, and then there's the stalkers and stuff. I'm like, you could have just gone straight to that. Like, we didn't need the last thing, but that's a tiny quibble for what otherwise was what I thought a great episode. And
another example of like, again, this is a minor quibble, but really I think it speaks to why the pacing feels off to me in this episode in particular. Is it's like we start off with Dina and Ellie, and Dina's triangulating, and they're talking about like, oh, we're trying to find a safe way forward, all that stuff. And then Ellie leaves and has this like really sentimental moment with a guitar. And then Dina's like, hey, let's pick up that conversation we were having. And it's just this weird push and pull where you could have done, I don't know, it might've been better to like do one before the other, but like splitting up that plan exposition scene was a weird choice.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think this is a bad episode by any stretch of the imagination, but it is like not one of my favorite ones this season.
Sure.
It's sort of like when you talk about Game of Thrones and you're like, that wasn't my favorite episode of Game of Thrones. It's still Game of Thrones, you know?
Totally.
I still think all the actors are awesome and do an amazing job. I'm really interested in the lore expansion that they're doing for the WLF, like the Sergeant Park character specifically in the hand-to-hand conversation at the very beginning is very cool. And I love I can't really get into a lot of the stuff. I was trying to write the bullets and pills baby section, and I'm like, I can't do any of the bullets and pills I found because I feel like those are potential spoilers for another episode. And I don't want to spoil things for people. But there's a lot of cool foreshadowing happening, and I'm excited for people to find out what they're foreshadowing because it's going to be dope as fuck. Do you want to get into the recap itself?
Yeah, let's do it.
Before we do that, though, we got to take a quick break to hear from ads. And we're back. We're here to talk about episode 5, Feel Her Love, which HBO Max describes thusly.
Episode 5. That's all it said when I watched it. Sorry.
It's funny how, like, I know why they do it because they don't want to spoil people, but they always, it's like on a timed release. Like you get the episode and then 2 hours later you get the other information.
If you're interested, you can go back.
Yeah. The synopsis reads, the WLF makes a dangerous discovery at a great cost. Later, Ellie must decide whether to continue with her plan and risk putting Dina in danger or give up on her quest for justice.
Justice.
I think it's more of a quest for vengeance. But we open up the episode. We see Hanrahan. This is the woman from last episode in the flashback with Isaac. She is the one who, I guess, recruited Isaac into the WLF. And she's a big to-do in this group. And she's walking through the hospital. There's a bunch of other WLF soldiers that are sitting around. Something's going on. She spots a barricade of some kind.
Yeah, it's a basement stairwell access that has been completely welded shut. Really cool design of the way that they did that.
It's all like slapped together, and it's really cool. But you're immediately like, what the fuck's happening? And she goes and has a meeting with Sergeant Leslie Park, who's smoking her own rolled cigarettes in her office.
I think it was Elise Park.
Oh, Elise Park. What did I say?
Leslie.
Oh yeah, it's Elise. You're right. Leslie. But Elise is there, and Hanrahan's like ready to drop the hammer. Cause she's like, hey, your soldiers are loyal to you. They're worried we're going to execute you. Which, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
What happened? Elise isn't that worried though. She says, if I was going to be executed, Isaac would do it himself. He would come down and do it. He's just wondering why he would kill your own men.
She says, including Leon.
Oh, and when she says including Leon, that's when Hanrahan sort of, including Leon.
Oh, Jesus.
Leon's dope as fuck.
From Resident Evil 4.
I love that guy. Those tank controls. And Hanrahan pulls up a cigarette and lights it herself. Like, oh my God, you killed Leon. Jesus, what happened? And Elise explains to her, we were here to clear out the hospital. So we did the first 6 floors, no problem. All we had to do was the basement, B1, B2, and B3. Apparently, the basement of the hospital is where the first cordyceps patients were brought in back in 2003.
Oh, so they've been there a while.
Yeah, they've been there a while. So they expected a lot of infected. They sent them down to B1, and there was nothing. It was empty. Even the rats were gone, right? And so the next day, they're like, okay, we're going into B2. Leon, you're in charge. They go down there, and there's cordyceps on the floors, on the walls, and 5 minutes later, Leon calls up and says he can't even breathe.
Enter the air.
Is Leon in the room with us right now? Yeah, Leon is like a brave soldier who's like, the cordyceps is in the air. You have to seal us in. We are infected. The cordyceps is airborne now. It's no longer transferred via mouth tendrils and eating bad bread. But they can't afford to lose the hospital, says Hanrahan. And she's like, I'm only going to tell the people who need to know that there's a bunch of creepy basement shit happening down there. You've resolved the situation permanently and heroically.
That doesn't feel very permanent.
It does not. We owe you a debt. I'm sorry about your son.
BT dubs. Sorry about your son. Leon was her son.
And that's why she was so upset, and why Hanrahan knew that, like, oh, this is a serious situation if Leon's dead.
I can't remember if they called this out after the episode or not, but this is basically the inverse of Joel and the decision that he made at the end of season 1, where it's like, hey, sacrifice your child for the good of humanity. And Elise,
they did say that in the after hours.
They did? Okay.
They did. Cool. However, I thoroughly think that's a bad take.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Because there's a big difference between this. Leon went down there under his own volition. He got infected, so he's already fucking dead. And he said, hey, you need to seal me in. And she has really nothing else she can do. So she sealed him in because he's already dead. And he made the decision himself.
That's fair.
Ellie never did make a decision herself. She was never going to die because she was infected. She was going to be died because people killed her and made the decision for her. And that's why Joel saved her. When I think it's such a wrong take from that.
I hear you. I mean, but also, like, I don't know, if that was my kid, I would have been like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm getting them out of there. Like, even if they were infected.
I mean, maybe, but the thing is, like, Leon doesn't want to go. Because Leon has agency in this situation, and that's a big part of it. Is like Ellie never did have agency in her situation.
That's true.
Which makes what Joel did a little more understandable. But Leon made the choice. Maybe Ellie would have made the same choice if she was given it, but she never was. Those behind the episodes vignettes are really funny to me. Just the way they're structured.
I typically skip them because I hate watching the next time on, and so I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. But for this one, I was tippy tapping away, making notes and stuff. And then I did watch it, but I couldn't remember if that actually got brought up or not.
It's so funny because you can tell whoever's producing those is like, okay, Craig Mazin is here just to recap the story. Neil Druckmann is there just to say a point every now and then we'll ask an actor or something.
Right, yeah.
Because Craig Mazin, it's so funny. He's the writer, showrunner, and they always have him going, what we see here are the events you just watched. And I'm adding no further commentary. Which is fine. Like nothing against Craig Mazin. The producer brain in me, because I used to do this type of shit in my day job. Like you can tell they're like, okay, you are recapping shit. That is your job.
Mazin member berries.
Yeah. We cut to Seattle day 2. Dina is triangulating the WLF positions by listening on their radio, which they're very chatty motherfuckers on that radio. But Ellie has gotten the lights back on in the theater. It is kind of cool that the lights pop on, and when Ellie comes up, hey, we did it. Dina's so consumed with her work, she didn't even notice the lights came back on.
Oh, yeah, dope.
It's like, oh, great, babe. Yeah. Natural gas, baby. Bella Ramsey's awesome.
Yeah, dude, she crushes it. I'm sorry, they crush it with I don't know, the fun, childish quirks that Ellie has. Yeah.
I saw a bunch of people online who were pointing to this scene in particular and being like, because there's always people who are going to criticize Bella Ramsey for whatever reason. They have a total, I know the eye of Sauron for these people is on Bella Ramsey specifically, and it's very unfair because I think she's doing great work. But they point to the scene like, oh, she's so bad as Ellie. Look at how joyful she is when she's out for her vengeance. I'm like, okay, that's not Bella's fault. I understand, like, the game takes place immediately. Like, this mission is like the day after, right? They go on the revenge tour a day after Joel's killed, whereas this is months later.
Right.
So she's had time to process his death and grieve, but still want vengeance. So she's not going to be, I need to fucking kill every last person I see at all times, right? That would be a pretty boring show if every episode was just Ellie like, I'm fucking killing people. Come on, Dina, you bitch, let's go.
Just sharpening a knife the
Triangulate
whole
harder.
episode.
Yeah, right. You got to have these moments to progress the characters that are in the show.
And I love this little moment where Dina is just like, Ellie, and then they have a little moment. They're like an unspoken L-bomb,
Oh, yeah, when she's like, I'm going to go explore more of this place.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell their relationship is very meaningful to each other. Ellie goes to the auditorium. As someone who loves theaters, this is such a cool ass theater. This place is so
it's
cool.
Awesome. It's huge. It's got just the sloped floor.
Yeah.
Stadium seating.
That beautiful chandelier. This is a great place to go catch a show. I hope Sick Habit got to play.
I know, man. I know.
They had such a good setup too.
They had some gear too, dude.
Yeah.
There's a Taylor acoustic. I saw a Fender Telecaster. There was a Les Paul up there. These guys were pretty successful little Seattle, presumably grunge.
I hope so.
Yeah.
They look like they're grunge. Based off the information we have. But Ellie picks up a guitar and they're edging us so hard, Andy. Because she starts playing Joel's song, Future Days by Pearl Jam. And but she only gets like through the first line and then stops.
And we get this like rumbly sound effect and just like it's the anger seeping through.
It reminds her of,
I'm not gonna jam right now.
I don't want to be weird around Dina. But that's a cool little effect where you can feel the anger roiling beneath the surface. And then Dina says, hey, I just figured it out. Do you want to continue that scene we just had? And she gives her the lay down, like the patrols are covering, like they've got this line of control towers, I guess, that are patrolling everything with floodlights, but there's a big gap in their line and it's some sort of building. And they assume rightfully that they don't control that area because it's infested with infected. But she also knows that Nora is on the first floor of the hospital in a certain wing. And she's like, how do you know that? Well, they never shut up.
Do you know about Amish people?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the concept of a Luddite?
How did you feel about the Amish people drop?
Well, these are young women that were born after the fall of humanity. So I think that it is interesting where it's like even something as mundane or commonplace as the concept of Amish people is like a foreign concept. So I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. Right. Although if they know about Green Day and Fleetwood Mac and all the other names or bands that they dropped in the last episode, I feel like Amish would have been brought up at some point, but not that those things equate at all. I'm just like, if you're aware of society that much,
It's funny to me because I understand like here are these tapes of music.
Yeah.
And if you live in a community like Jackson, you probably like, oh man, these bands are awesome, right? But in the apocalypse, it's where like society is shuttered. It's more like, hey, have you heard about these weird people who don't use technology at all from like 20 years ago?
Right.
Not the people we probably have run into. Like Ellie could have been like, yeah, like those old folks from season 1 that we ran into.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It was just kind of a funny name drop. But they say they're confident about being on the radio because the people they're at war with don't use the technology. And they say, they're very religious, maybe culty. And so they're confident that they're not, they're overconfident essentially because their enemy is someone who is technologically inferior. Mm-hmm. And Dina's like, or I'm sorry, Ellie says, hey, that's great. They're overconfident. And Dina's like, yeah, but we're being really reckless.
Yeah.
That's kind of a wash.
Right. And then she ends the scene with, let's go be reckless.
Let's go be reckless.
Yeah.
I like that line. Mm. That reminded me of Firefly. That's like a total Firefly line. Let's go be bad guys. Ellie and Dina are out on patrol. They're making their way to the big fucking something, the building that they want to sneak through. And you can hear explosions going off in the distance. The Seraphite WLF war is going on. Ellie says something like, are you sure this is okay? I trust you. I just don't trust Seattle.
Right. That's how I feel about Seattle too.
It's going to be wild being someone who lives in Seattle and there's all these like, man, what the fuck's wrong with Seattle? Like,
hey, well, as people from Ohio and who get shit on for where we live constantly, Seattle, you had it coming.
True. Coming from the Ohio of podcasts, you had it coming. They're walking through the streets and they're trying to break up the tension because Dina's getting nervous and she's worried about throwing up again. And so Ellie says, what are you going to name the baby? Well, if it's a girl, I'm going to name it Ellie. If it's a boy, I'm going to name it Elijah. Really?
Really? No.
And they stumble across some more Seraphite graffiti. It's actually a really great
it's a good mural yeah.
of the prophet. And it says, feel her love. And then this is where we get the assumedly a WLF person who spray painted, feel this bitch. And they did a bunch of executions of Seraphites right underneath that mural, which is gnarly, dastardly.
And Dina gets sick again. So that's when Ellie's like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. We probably shouldn't do this, huh?
And this is something that I don't think truly happens in the game ever, where Ellie's like, oh shit, what am I fucking doing? This is messed up.
Yeah.
I'm putting you in danger. Like, we need to leave.
Honestly, I'm not sure, but it's a good point and a honestly important character thing for her to at least have some empathy for what she's dragging her best friend into.
Mm-hmm. And this is where Dina has her, hey, you never asked me about the first person I killed. And goes into the story about how she used to live in a cabin north of Santa Fe with her mom and sister. One day she went out to play, but she had a gun, so no one would fuck with her. Mm-hmm. Right? She was 8 years old, and I love how she's like, I had a gun, no one's gonna fuck with me.
Right.
And while she was gone, she heard her mom screaming, or someone screaming, so she ran back, and there was a raider who had broken in, killed her mom and sister, and she killed that guy.
I love the dialogue in this sequence where she says, well, you know how this ends because I don't live in Santa Fe anymore and I don't have a mom or a sister. So what do you think? What happened? And then, Ellie says like, there was a raider. Yeah, there was one. He was startled when he saw me. And then when I shot him, he was more startled. I just think the dialogue here is fantastic.
And she turns around and she said, Joel didn't deserve what happened to him. If I hadn't snuck out and the guy came in there and made me watch my mom and sister get beaten to death in front of me, would it made a difference what they did to that dude's family beforehand? No, it wouldn't. Yeah. And so this really recontextualizes Dina's want to help Ellie get her vengeance, because she's putting herself in Ellie's shoes, and because she loves Ellie, it's like, girl, I get it. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think it was also important that they did the work to show that Dina had a close relationship with Joel as well.
Yeah. The biggest success of season 2, when you compare it to the game, is what they've done for Dina's character specifically.
Yeah.
Like, Dina has so much more agency and is a more realized character in the show, which is really cool. And plus they have someone portraying the character very well. Which is a plus, right?
Yeah, seriously.
And yeah, so she says, like, I'll go back if you want, Ellie, and I'll keep going if you want. There is no right answer. If I die, it's on me. What do you want to do? And Ellie says, I want to keep going.
I want the vengeance.
Give me vengeance. Justice.
I am the knight.
Which is good, because it becomes night when they get to the big fucking something.
Yeah.
You can see all the WLF floodlights scanning the area. And I kind of wish they did more of this, because I loved how they made it like flashlight tag. They're trying to avoid being caught by the light, and the light has a sound design to it where it's like when it gets closer to them. It works for me.
It feels like a video game moment.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Dina breaks the chain to get the fence door open. And Dina's so smart. Like, they make a big point to show that Dina is the brains of the operation and Ellie's the brawn. Because she snaps the gate open, opens it, they rush through, and she takes the time to close it back up so the guard wouldn't think something was amiss.
Yeah.
Very small detail that I think was great. But they make it inside, and they're sort of plotting out what they want to do. There's this door to the next room, and they're like, okay, so there definitely has to be infected in here, right? It can't be a horde, because we're not underground and there's people around us, and a horde would just go after them. So it has to be just 1 or 2 stragglers, right? We can do that. We're badass.
Yeah. Again, the dialogue is so good with these two. There's 2 positives. Searchlights are outside, so they're not going to be poking around in here. Other positive, that door's open and nothing came running in to kill us. So sweet.
I think Ellie goes in there and she looks through the door and she says, it looks haunted but empty. And Dina says, oh, like us. Oh, like us. We're also haunted and empty. So Dina says, okay, we're going in there. Shooting is a last resort. If we fire our guns, they're definitely going to hear us and the WLF is going to swarm us. So given the chance, if we run into infected, it's knife or run. Are you okay with that?
No, super serious, no shooting. You're a little crazy. That's why I love you.
That's why I love you. You love me?
No.
And she tries to say, I love you. Right? That's how you took it. She tries to say, I love you back. And Dina's like, no, girl, I get it. Not right now.
Not the time.
Knives or run. That's the plan. They walk into the building. It is haunted and empty. Dina stops and listens. And I think the purpose of this scene, Andy, is to show how... It's another way to show how difficult these stalkers are, because she can't hear them.
Oh, that's a fair point.
Because they've shown several times that Dina's the one that listens for the stalker or for the infected and can count them. And because she can't hear them, they're like, okay, we're safe. But they're not. There's a ton of them in there. They're just really quiet and smart.
Sneaky
boys. As they walk into the main sort of, I guess you call it like factory area,
factory floor,
warehouse floor of the building, they see a bunch of dead people ripped apart. It's fucking wild. I think at one point there's a low dolly shot and you can see them underneath like a table, like because they're far away, but then it dollies past like, I think a severed leg or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. And they peek their head over and they see one little stalker on the top of some crates like,
I got my little antlers.
They look so cute, so regal.
They all have little antlers. I love it.
And like, okay, there's one of them. It's one of those smart ones. We ran into the deli. And this is when Ellie says like, because Dina's like, you killed it though, right? It's like, yeah, but it like attacked me and bit me a bunch of times. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. It's not important. I can't get infected. I can't tell you. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to split up and whichever one it goes after, the other one's going to flank it, right? Cool. Plan?
Plan. Then they look up. Oh, fuck, there's more.
Oh, there's 3 now. Shit. So at this point, they're like, okay, let's bail.
Yeah.
This is fucking terrifying. And they turn around and there's like 5 more blocking the exit. They're completely surrounded by these things. It's terrifying.
Oh God, it's so well done. Because
Right.
I don't know, the movement, there's something about like, I don't know, the shutter speed is different for the stalkers, the way that they move. So there's like this inhumane, I don't know, choreography to them, even though like theoretically the actors are just kind of crawling backwards. But you know, do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They look different. They look like they're moving supernaturally, and it's awesome.
Are they adding, I can't tell if they're adding like the reflectiveness to their eyes too.
Oh, like
When the, like,
Midnight Mass kind of thing.
Yeah. But anyway, it's such a terrifying image. Something about the way they're moving and then the fact that they're like purposely hiding and peeking around corners and that makes it more scary. Like, no, I see you there. But the fact that you're still trying to hide from me is unnerving.
Way more terrifying. So then Ellie points out that fenced in area. I guess it's like the power control room. And for whatever reason, that is a cage. Right. So
You don't want anyone just getting in there.
you get the fuck in there. You go hide. They can bite the shit out of me. I can get bit a lot and I'm going to be okay. Ready, go. And then Ellie, being who the fuck she is, it's like, we said no guns. What the fuck? She didn't even aim at any of them. She just started shooting.
Look at me. This is kind of a cool sort of swap on the 2 characters because like up to this point, Dina's been the one who's sort of, I don't know if taking care of is the right way to say this, but she's been planning so that Ellie can do what she needs to do. And then now that Ellie and Dina know her secret, Ellie can do the things she's capable of to protect Dina.
Totally.
And it's a really cool way to show how they're such a good team together. Like, I can take the bites, but you can't go hide. But it doesn't look great. They swarm Ellie. She takes a couple out, but they quickly swarm her. They're biting her. Dina's in the cage and she's taking out as many as she can, but she runs out of ammo and they start ripping the fencing out.
Oh, it's scary.
Oh, terrifying. But right at the last moment, boom, boom, boom. Someone shoots some of the stalkers off Ellie. Who is it, Andy?
Is Jesse?
Is Jesse. Deus Ex Jesse. And to your point, you got the Joel vibes from this scene.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that it was intentionally shot where it's blurry and like he's dressed sort of similarly. His hairstyle is pretty similar and it looks like him. Yeah, very much so. It was straight up like Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter gets saved by what he thinks is his dad from the Dementors and then finds out that it's him all along and stuff. It's just like the blurry, mysterious figure that shows up and saves you at the last moment. They ripped that straight from Harry Potter.
You heard it here. Last of Us is ripping off Harry Potter. Dina immediately is like, Jesse, Ellie didn't get bit. Trust me, I was watching her the whole time.
Right, yeah.
But Jesse, you can tell, doesn't quite believe her. But it's like, no time. Let's go. We got to run. So they just make a run for it. They don't even care about getting spotted by the WLF. The WLF gives chase to them. They run into a park, and the WLF is like, we don't go in there.
Right, yeah.
Everyone stop. Stop. That's Scar territory. They don't say that, but that's why they're not going in there. And so the team's like, okay, there must be more infected in this park because they don't know where the battle lines are drawn. And they decide they're going to go through the park because they can't go out the other way because we also hear the wolves go, if they come back out, shoot them.
Don't go down that road.
No. So they catch up with Jesse a bit, and Jesse is mad.
He's salty.
He's mad. I think he's mad for a good reason.
Although he's like, I found the map in the theater. Nice job with it, triangulating, by the way. And then Ellie has some questions. He's like, do I look like I want to fucking talk to you right now? It's like, hey, you were just complimenting the triangulation.
I think he's mad at Ellie specifically.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Because she says, oh, that was Dina that did the triangulating. He's like, trust me, I didn't think it was you, dumbass.
No fucking shit.
And yeah, he says, like, do I look like I want to be fucking talking to you right now? He's real mad at Ellie. And he mentions that Tommy and he snuck out of Jackson to try to get them. And Ellie's trying to defend herself like, hey, we were doing good out here until what?
Until we weren't.
The plan is they're going to go back to the movie theater for the night and then go meet Tommy and leave. And Ellie's like, no, I don't want to go home. I got vengeance to hand out.
I have an itinerary.
Yeah.
I'm like still at the beginning of it. Step one, get to Seattle.
We haven't even started handing out the justice. But she decides not to press it, but then they hear the whistles. Damn, that was good, Andy. That's pretty good. Are you a Scar? Shave your beard. Let me see your cheeks.
I got these scars.
And they see a Seraphite ritual where they have a WLF soldier strung up, and he's trying to negotiate with him.
Attenborough is there.
Yes. This guy has such a specific voice.
I know, dude. The casting here is so interesting. I love it.
It very much is. We will not listen to you, wolf. Like this dude.
Free him that he may know her love.
This guy literally walked off a community show of Macbeth, and they were like, "You want to be a preacher in our cult?" Verily. And he's got that. What's that cool? I think I ask this every time.
It's a sickle.
The sickle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a dope ass sickle. And they're going to hang this dude, but at the same time, he stabs him. And like you said, they open him up like a zipper.
Yeah, dude.
So that he may know her love.
He sticks it in like just underneath his sternum, and then they hang him, and that does the cutting for him. It's gnarly. And all the guts pour out and the blood's running and the feet stop twitching. My notes here just say, Jesus.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
What a way to go. Not pleasant. And they're all watching this, the trio are, and they hear another whistle ring out right before an arrow just gets Dina right in the leg.
That came out of fucking nowhere. That was awesome.
And they're like, Jim Carrey from
seriously.
It's in the bone. It's in the bone. And Ellie says, Jesse, get her out of there. I'll draw their fire. And of course, they go chasing after Ellie. And I hope Jesse and Dina make it because they all go after her. This actress who looks so much like Elizabeth Moss is just like scowling, just looking for Ellie. This shot made me laugh because there's maybe 10 Seraphites on screen strategically placed for the composition of the shot. And they're looking around. They're like, she left. And then like almost on cue, they're all like scatter. And they like turn around and just go the other way. It's kind of funny. But Ellie was hiding in a tree the whole time.
Yeah.
And when she gets out, she sees she's at the edge of the park and she sees the hospital, right? That's why she goes that way?
Yep.
Yeah. So she heads towards the hospital because she knows Nora's there. That was their intended place to begin with. The WLF are patrolling. There's a man and his dog named Bonnie.
Yeah, good girl.
Good girl Bonnie knows something's up. And unfortunately for Bonnie, her master is an idiot.
Yeah.
Because there's a big giant hole. The dog's like, there's someone in that hole. He's like, must have been the wind. If he had just knelt down,
seriously,
he would have seen Ellie. But he thinks it's just a critter that the dog was barking at. We see Nora. She's in the hospital helping people out medically. And she goes to sterilize the bandages. And that's when Ellie gets to jump on her. Hey, you remember me?
Put that shit down.
Put that shit down.
Where's Abby?
And Nora is like, hey, I'm really sorry you saw that happen. No one should see that happen. He died. That was an awful way to go. Sometimes I still hear his screams at night. Terrible way to die. Little bitch got what he deserved.
Oh, shit.
How disarming is that?
Yeah, seriously. That's such a fun, interesting way to play that, where she doesn't seem to be afraid at any point. She's like, we could have killed you and we didn't. Like, you should be saying thank you right now. Maybe put the gun down. And like conceptually, the idea that the bad guys are not bad, or at least they don't see themselves as bad, is the best kind of villain, you know, or it's like, hey, no, we did our justice. And fuck that guy.
And they kind of played with the idea of some of the people who were part of the the Salt Lake City crew that killed Joel weren't necessarily on board with how Joel was killed, but we learned unequivocally that Nora's like, no, fuck
Nora
that
was
little
all
bitch.
for it.
Was she the one that spray painted the wall earlier?
She was pro golf club for sure.
The actress that plays Nora is, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Tati Gabrielle.
Okay.
She is a Naughty Dog staple at this point.
I was going to say, she looks like the character design for their new game.
She is.
She is. Okay. Right on.
Naughty Dog's coming out with like a sci-fi epic sword fighting game. It's not out yet. I think it comes out in a year or two, but she plays the main character.
Oh no,
in
what's that game
new
called? Naughty Dog.
She also was in the Uncharted movie.
Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
That sounds so dope.
I know, I can't wait.
That's going to be a great game. But yeah, so she's like Naughty Dog royalty at this point.
Wait, but you said she's also in what?
She's in the Uncharted movie.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. She's one of the villains in the Uncharted movie. A lot of people probably know her from the Sabrina show on Netflix.
Gotcha.
So Nora throws the bloody bandage water at her, and Ellie's like, get it off me. And she makes a run for it. And I love how she's running, and there are some guards on like the second level of lobby. It's like, someone fucking shoot this bitch.
And then we get wheelchair attack, which I thought was
Most
awesome.
effective wheelchair attack ever. I gotta say, there's a lot of chase scenes where the chasee, or the chased like throws shit in their way, and it's always
actually
ineffective.
turned and aimed that shit, right?
She bullseyed her. Hell yeah. But Nora ends up running to the end of the hallway where the stairwell was barricaded. And we do know that the elevators are below ground level, and she's stuck. And I think in a way to buy herself some time, because those guards are also chasing Ellie. Mm-hmm. She's like, let me hide in the elevator shaft, and hopefully the guards will catch up to them. Mm-hmm. But she didn't count on the elevator just giving out immediately, because she steps on the elevator and it falls a couple floors. That had to fucking hurt.
Yeah, seriously, that's like nightmare fuel for me. Elevators are scary.
Yeah, I have a terrifying elevator story.
Oh
actually. Yeah. So I used to work room service at a hotel downtown, and we had a staff service elevator. That was the elevator I used to go and deliver the room service stuff. And I forget what floor it was. I think it might have been like floor 9, but whenever the elevator got to floor 9, it would bump.
Oh,
it did a weird bump all the time. And there was one day I had already put my 2 weeks in, right? So I was just finishing out my tenure there. And I got to floor 9 and it stopped and got stuck for a second, which wasn't out of the ordinary. It did that on a fairly regular basis, but then it dropped a whole ass floor with me in it. And I fell over, like the cart that I had, like raised up, fell over, all the food went everywhere. And like the glasses, like of, I think it was milk, cause I worked the morning shift. Like the glass of milk fell over and went all over the place. And then it got stuck. And then I was stuck in the elevator for a half hour.
Oh, Jesus.
While they tried to like open it up and get it working again. But like the whole time I'm covered in milk in an elevator that just dropped a floor. I'm still like 8 floors up.
You're eating bacon and crying.
Yeah, hope I don't die. And but it obviously turned out okay, and I stopped using that elevator for the remainder of my tenure.
Yeah, Jesus.
I was like, I'm going into the lobby with the customers. I don't give a fuck.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so nightmare fuel there. But she falls down. She's on B2.
I don't know.
Ooh. But Ellie chases her. Ellie doesn't know there's anything wrong with B2, so she gives Nora a chase. Nora's just trying to not get shot. And Ellie starts to realize there's something crazy with B2. And there's cordyceps all over the place, the walls and the ceiling. What did you think of this, Andy? Because this is super cool set design.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was like so colorful and pretty, and like I don't know, it felt like the game. And I know that that's like trite to say because obviously it's what they pulled it from, but fuck, man, it was like beautiful design, the effects of the cordyceps floating through the air and stuff. And I'm like, why, if you guys were capable of this all along, why did we ever do the tendrils? Like the spores are so fucking cool looking. This is awesome.
Yeah.
It looked unbelievable. And
Love the spores.
Have we seen yet at this point where we have the people stuck up against the walls? Mm-hmm. It's so cool. And they're spitting out the spores and stuff.
Smoking's cool.
And then you see L Park, one of the name tags.
It's Leon.
Leon's down there.
Ellie found Leon.
Yeah.
So the first guy she sees that's strung up on the wall, is that a nurse that's been down there for 20 years?
I guess so, man.
Because it looked like he was wearing scrubs.
Oh, was he?
It's hard to tell because Leon's outfit looks scrubs adjacent. So I couldn't tell if the first guy was a nurse that's been down there for a really long time or if he was part of Leon's crew. Because you also see like arms and shits poking out of the fungus in the wall. So there's a bunch more people stuck down there.
Yeah.
But those are the two that are breathing out spores. And I love how diabolical the fungi is like, come here, we're going to use your respiratory system to spit out more spores. And that's how the spores, I really like that twist on it, that the spores are a mutation of the cordyceps interacting with the human body.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't think we get that in the games at all, do we?
In the game, it's just like, these are mushrooms and mushrooms have spores.
Yeah.
And that's how they have the spores. But I like this little twist that the mushrooms are using the human body as a weapon as well. Totally. That's neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really crazy and wild looking. We got spores. It's cool. Ellie makes a pit stop because she's like, this place needs some mood lighting. Let me turn on the red lights. So everything looks cool as shit from here on out.
Just in case you weren't certain that this scene was about to be pretty dark, here we go.
Yeah. And she finds Nora, who's at the end of this hallway. Nora is not doing great with these spores. She's hacking up a lung. Was she bleeding?
Vaping is bad for you.
Was her nose bleeding or something?
I thought that at first, but I'm pretty sure it was just a nose ring.
Okay. Because I clocked it at the first shot, but then it didn't look like it was there the rest of the time. So I think you're probably right. It's probably just a weird reflection on her nose ring.
You stupid bitch, we're breathing spores.
You killed us both. Did I? Oh, cold as fuck.
You're real.
You're the immune girl. Yeah. So Nora knows that there was an immune girl that Joel killed everyone for, and she realizes that Ellie is that girl. Did you know what Joel did? He killed everyone in that hospital, including the only person who can make a cure from you. That was Abby's father, and Joel shot him in the head. That's what he did. So she's laid out all of Joel's crimes in front of Ellie. And what does Ellie say?
I know. It's all good.
Yeah. And
I love when she says that. She says, I know. She holsters the gun. The way she squats in front of her is just diabolical. The blocking of it is so fucking spectacular.
Yeah, but this is a big deal because we've sort of been speculating this whole season, like how much does Ellie know about what Joel did? And this leads us to believe that she 100% knows that Joel killed all those people because he lied to her at the end of the last season. So at some point she found out the truth, and she says, I know, I don't care in this moment. Now she could be telling, like just inferring that, like, oh, I know, not giving Nora the satisfaction.
Totally.
But I don't know.
Not based on the way she's acting it. You know? She's like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. You like to play golf? Here's my 9-iron. It's a lead pipe.
That's fucking, ugh.
And she keeps asking, where's Abby? And starts torturing Nora by hitting her in the legs. And Nora just keeps saying, no, and like won't tell, but it cuts to black. It cuts to black before we could figure it out. And what did you think of this last scene?
This was so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Daddy's back, so that was awesome.
Daddy?
But yeah, she wakes up in her room and Joel comes in. He says, hey, kiddo. And we get
smiles. Hi.
Yeah. It's just presumably a flashback to the good times.
And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
I thought it was such an interesting choice to end the episode this way. Because I feel like you could have ended it with the cut to black hitting Nora. It would have been just as effective.
Sure.
I feel like this was thrown in to be like, hey, we know you miss Joel.
Yeah.
If you tune into one more episode, though, maybe you'll see more of him.
Yeah. It's because 100% they have Pedro Pascal and he's on contract for the rest of the week. And they're like, come here, guy.
Come here, guy. Come on.
No, I like it. I like it because that juxtaposition of the sweet, happy Ellie still with her daddy.
In the room still.
Yeah.
She hadn't moved out of the garage yet.
Totally. That juxtaposed with her torturing this dying young woman is intense. Yeah, I love it.
Well, we got to do some more segments in the
yeah?
show. But before we do, here's ads. Hey there, Stream Fiend family. As we step into May, the month of milestones, graduations, and fresh starts, we're feeling extra grateful for the folks who help us keep this show rolling strong. We want to take a moment to celebrate every single person who supports streaming things, but we really want to celebrate these real MVPs, our super patrons. These are the amazing supporters who pledge $25 or more each month, and their generosity powers everything we do. While people are tossing their caps in the air or getting ready for summer adventures, we're tipping our caps to these legends. So thank you to Sun Loving Mortal, Xander Barbarian, Daniel Pack, Nice Guy Eddie, Tulun, Jordan Garvin, Alba Stinkpot, Haley, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Jim E, Lady Trashley, Sean Myers, Just Liz Calabria, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, E Scramo, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Loft Pump, AK Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Upside Down Canuck, Big Butthorn, Jer Latanovich, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Elpander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Jill Velez, Trisha Bueller, Alex G, Suzanne Rode, Jadinklage Morgoon, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, That Brenda, Aaron Armstrong, Seriously Black 82, Ashley Powers, Casey McCain, and Enza. Thank you all so much for supporting streaming things, but the celebration is just getting started. Let's get back to the show. And we're back. Andy, it's time for our Firefly moments, our top 3 favorite moments of the episode. What's your number 3, buddy?
My number 3 is Dina's backstory. I think that Isabella Merced is doing a fantastic performance here. I love the way that it's shot. Like it starts with this like tracking dolly, sideways shot, and then the technical terms, and then it cuts to this wide that Dina walks up into, and then it becomes like this chest up backwards tracking shoulder mounted shot where she's telling the story, and it isn't completely a oneer. It cuts to reaction shots with Ellie and stuff, but the focus lingers on Dina as we're tracking backward, and I love the dialogue. I thought that it was super effective, and like he was startled and then he was more startled and stuff. I just think that the writing here is fantastic, and I love getting some agency, like you called it, for Dina. I love knowing who she is, what her intentions are, what her backstory is, and why she has motivation to do the things that she's doing.
Nice. That's a good choice. My number 3 is spores. You get some spores. You get some spores. I was just so happy to see spores make it back into the Last of Us universe. I don't know why I love spores so much. I just think maybe the science nerdy person in me is like, ooh, spores are scary as fuck, man.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Even in that scene with Elise and Hanrahan when they're like, it's airborne, like the fear, like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That changes everything. And I know why in the first season they had mentioned that they didn't want to do the spores because it was like, if it's airborne, the whole world's going to be fucked immediately. So they wanted to be more realistic. So they didn't want to completely kill off all of humanity, and it's more likely to do that if it's an airborne thing.
Sure.
Right. But I love that they're bringing it back, and it seems to be only in like very specific, dark, underground, 20-year preserve situations. And it's mutated. It's heightened the stakes, as it were.
Totally.
And the production design of that set was super cool, with everything sort of floating in the air and the walls. It almost looks like they're in like a underwater coral reef.
Yeah,
type
seriously,
look.
straight up.
Yeah, and then you get the people just glued to it, breathing out the spores. very cool visuals. That's my number 3. Just that.
Now,
It's so
okay.
cool.
Or you're not tying in like the whole Nora sequence that happens with that?
Not yet.
No? Okay. Gotcha. All right. So my number 2 is the spore basement, but the sequence with confronting Nora there at the end, and the way that Bella Ramsey is channeling the vengeance and fury is phenomenal. It's just like this stern, straight face, like fucking beg. You know what I mean? Like she's there for a mission. She fucking hates this person. And I just think that the performance is phenomenal, and the sound design, the stuff that's going on is so effective that having Ellie turn on the mood lighting is a little silly, but the shout out to the lighting, because it's so effective,
cool,
and like intense, and it just channels all of the fury and rage, and I fucking love it.
Hey, if you do something silly, it better look cool.
Yeah.
And this has a really cool payoff too.
But for me, that was a cheat, because I'm tying in the spore basement with that. It felt like one sequence to me, but I'm a cheater.
See, it's funny because I felt like I was cheating by splitting them up, because the Nora scene in the red lighting is my number 2.
Okay. Hell yeah.
I feel like I was cheating splitting them up. That's funny. To your point, Bella Ramsey plays this scene so well. That shot of them in the middle of the frame, just looking directly at camera almost, and just the way they coldly say, I know, where's Abby? Like, I don't care about anything you just said. And the way they're delivering that line, it's not like, where's Abby? Or where's Abby? It's this cold, calculated, almost emotionless, just trying to keep it all together for this cold action that they're about to take.
Totally.
Very chilling. And then, to your point, when they kneel down, such a cool shot, and it looks so scary. Like, Ellie's going off the deep end.
Totally.
With this. This is really the first, I would say this scene, and a little bit when she decides to go to the hospital, Ellie, this is the first time that Ellie has sort of shown the vengeance and hatred that the character exhibits in the game. And I think it's great. Yeah. And that was really cool to see. And this is a good moment to bring that out. And Bella's awesome. So it's my number 2.
My number 1 is the stalker sequence, them getting overwhelmed. And I just think that the way that they designed the stalkers is absolutely fire. I think the choreography is so creepy, so awesome. The little effects that they add to the way that they move are super effective. I think that the way what you called out is a perfect thing to point out. The turning of the tables for who's taking care of whom here is fantastic, and it puts the dynamic of Ellie and Dina into a whole new light, where it's like, no, I have this superpower actually, and I can be the one to protect you. And yeah, it's just so effective. And I'm such a fan for creepy horror, little like, is it there? Is it there? With the shot when because they use the same camera motion twice, pedestal up, and you see the one, and we go back down, and then we do it again. Oh fuck, there's 3 of them, and then we come back down. It's perfect horror. I love it.
Everybody.
Let's go.
That's my number 1 as well. It's everything you just said. It's so cool. It's so creepy. It's very tense. And my anxiety's going like, oh no, there's more. Oh shit, there's a lot more. Very effective. Everything you just said was wonderful. The way the show is treating the stalkers is so cool. I think we mentioned it when the first stalker showed up. The game doesn't really treat the stalkers like that big of a deal. Like, doesn't seem like that big of an escalation of like a normal. It's like, oh, you just
they're very scary in the game because they like hide up against walls and stuff. They're like,
oh, when they're like splattered up against with the other fungus, and they jump out at you.
Yeah,
you don't know if they're dead or not.
They're hiding. It's amazing.
But the game doesn't actually like treat them like, oh shit, a new type of infected.
totally.
Wow. They really focus on how smart these things are, and it makes them creepier. They're like raptors in Jurassic Park. Like dinosaurs be scary, but smart dinosaurs,
Clever girl.
very scary. But let's move on to our next segment, our bullets and pills, baby. Any sort of Easter eggs from the game or cool things we can shout out that we saw while watching this episode that we feel enriches it for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
Andy, do you have anything?
Did you already call out the sick habit?
I did last week.
You did? Okay. I was just going to say that is a collectible that you find in the theater with their playlists and stuff. You already said all of that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that was kind of my big one. Shout out to the lead pipe because that's a weapon that you can find in the game. You get 3 good hits with it unless you're playing on the hardest mode. Then I don't even know if you get 1 kill with it. Typically, is it 3 people that you can kill with a melee weapon before it breaks?
In the second game, it depends on which melee weapon you have. Like the different weapons have different constitution levels.
Gotcha.
But it's actually the lead pipe is the weapon that Ellie uses in the game to torture Nora as well.
It is? Gotcha. Good call. Shout out to Pearl Jam. They play present tense at the end, and it's a banger song. So that's not an Easter egg at all, but any opportunity to call out Pearl Jam, I'm here for it.
They sang Future Days too, right?
They started to with the If I Ever Were to Lose You.
But that is a Pearl Jam song, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I said that earlier, and then my brain was like, wait, hold on. Did I fuck that up? And it's kind of cool that Future Days is such an important song to the story. Mm-hmm. And then this episode ends with present tense. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a cool, nerdy little grammatical thing. Did you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
I just had a couple. I don't have a lot. We sort of talked over some of the ones in our recap, but also the big ones that are really exciting to talk about. We can't because of spoilers. The scene when Ellie goes into the auditorium and sees the guitars, before she starts playing, there's a musical cue playing. And people who played the game will recognize that music cue as the song Vanishing Grace from the Last of Us soundtrack. That is the song that plays in the game when Joel and Ellie discover the giraffes. It's usually used in the context of the games as like, here's a nice quiet moment that is super fun, or not, maybe not fun,
poignant.
but like poignant. Yeah, that's a better word. Yeah. Vanishing Grace. That's why it's called that. The Feel Her Love graffiti, obviously we've seen that a bunch, but the Prophet is an important character in the story, but she isn't alive at this point. Like Isaac said that last episode. That's not a spoiler, but the Prophet started off as this woman who lived on the outskirts of Seattle and said that she had a vision that the cordyceps outbreak was a punishment for humanity's sins. And she preached going back to a more egalitarian form of lifestyle, get rid of all technology and just focus on farming and the land being more one with nature and peace and that. And over time, the community that she lived in, she converted most of them. And then a couple years later, FEDRA, the Seattle FEDRA office, ran across this group and they found them, and they were all like starving to death, basically, because they weren't doing so well on their farming. And they offered these people to go back to Seattle, and they were like, no, we're good. We got the Prophet. She's doing a bang up job here. And FEDRA was like, dope. Y'all are weird, and we're dealing with a civil war with terrorists, the WLF. And then when the WF took over, they had a bunch of different interactions with the Seraphites. And eventually it led to what we see. I don't want to go too far into it because I feel like that's also kind of dipping your toes into potential spoiler territory. But there's a bunch of different views as to how the war started, like who started the war. Was it the Seraphites? Was it the WLF? But maybe we'll see eventually. I don't want to go too far into that. And lastly, we touched on it a little bit, but Dina listening for the stalkers and not hearing them is, I think, a callback to the video game. Because if you're in the game, you can press R1 and it activates listening mode, and everything goes black and white, and you see like white silhouettes, and those are the people who are making noise. You can hear them. You can always hear stalkers or clickers, or not. I'm sorry, infected or clickers, stuff like that running around. But if the stalkers are stalking you, they can't be heard. So you really are blind when they're around. And that's just I thought it was a nice little callback to the game mechanics.
A question, because I didn't bring it up because I wasn't sure if this was an Easter egg or not. But in the moment when Ellie goes up to the stage and sits down with the Taylor acoustic guitar, is that the sequence in the game where you can control the chords that she's playing, and you can you run your finger across the touchpad and that strums for you, and you move the joystick to play the different chords and stuff?
Yeah, that's actually a very good call out. I think that's the first time in the game you can do that.
Is it? Okay.
Is in the theater.
Gotcha. Yeah, I thought so, but I wasn't positive. There's some awesome videos online of people actually playing songs with that and singing along to it while they strum. It's so fun.
It's such a...
you can even tap. You don't just strum, you can tap and pluck individual strings too. Mm-hmm. So if you're particularly dexterous, you can actually play music on it.
It's a really deep game mechanic that they didn't have to put in.
Yeah.
But it's really cool.
Oh yeah. They spent so much money, I'm sure, making that happen in time. Right? And it's hey, yeah, you can jam if you want.
The different chords and everything.
So cool.
But yeah, people do some crazy stuff with that game mechanic. I saw some guy playing Freebird on it. And I'm how the fuck do you do that? That's insane. But that's all the bullets and pills I have. Do you have any more?
That's it.
Good call out, Sandy. Let's move on to our Outbreak performance, our favorite performance of the episode. Who are you giving it to this week, Andy?
Bella Ramsey. I think that they crushed the fun moments and the intense moments. This episode had a good bit of levity. I love the protractor jokes. I love the action sequences that we got. I love the intensity in the Nora confrontation. I think that it's good work. For the most part, throughout the series, I think that Bella is doing fantastic work, but the light shines brighter on supporting cast. But in this case, I think that Bella Ramsey stole the show.
Excellent choice. Bella Ramsey, I think, was my number 2. My number 1 is a bit of an odd choice.
David Attenborough.
The David Attenborough. No, it's the actress is named Hedian Park. They play Elise Park.
Oh, okay.
This scene reminded me of, how in the first season, they had several episodes that would open up with these characters that you never see or hear from again. The first episode starts off with a TV show from the 70s, and the guy from the Mummy's oh, cordyceps would be terrible. And then you get the woman who's the doctor in Jakarta explaining bomb the whole city.
Yeah.
This scene reminded me of that. I don't know if we'll ever see Sergeant Park ever again.
Right.
But the scene was very memorable for me. Just this character who is struggling with the fact that they sent their own kid to their death and they might be executed for it, for the people they even fight for. And the way they told that story, the actress's delivery of this performance, I think, really lends weight to when you actually go down into the B2 level and you see Leon down there. That moment hits because the backstory that was given to you by this woman and Hanrahan as well. I just thought it was very memorable, and I wanted to give that actress a shout out because I thought she did great with what little they had.
Hell yeah,
very memorable. But hey, that's all we have.
That's it
for today.
Dang.
I do want to remind you guys again, live show November 7th. It's going to be fun. Come down. There's a lot of people already making plans for that week.
It's exciting.
The Fiends are going to get together. We might as well just call our live show FiendCon 2025.
Yeah, seriously. It's about them, not us.
Yeah, right. We're just there. We got a Last of Us t-shirt. It looks super cool. I think ours literally just arrived while we were recording this.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited to put that on. And check Phil and I out on Andor on Wednesday. And last but not least, support us on patreon.com/streamingthings. We're doing Game of Thrones over there. We just recorded a Hook episode, the 1991 classic. That'll go up later this week. And I'm just super happy that Andy's back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, guys. It's pretty cool.
I missed you, buddy.
I miss you too, man. This is exciting.
That's such hands.
No. No.
We're too far away. Well, that is it from us at Streaming Things. We get to return some videotapes. My name is Steve.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve, and this was Streaming Things, streaming The Last of Us.
Happy streaming. I wanted to tell a quick story of the wedding about Kit, since he's not here. And it's embarrassing and fun for me. Anyway, it was hot, man. It was like 90-degree weather the whole time. I have all these photos of beautiful scenic beaches and Sarah looking lovely in her dress. And I am just sweating like a pig, and it is awful. When we sit down for dinner, the speeches and stuff are happening, and I'm sitting there and I'm pouring sweat. And at some point, like, I rest my hand down and I feel wetness on my lap, and I look down and I'm like, oh no, because I'm wearing khakis. And I had completely sweat through my pants, just butt sweat, man. It was hot. Leave me alone. All right. And turns out the wardrobe choice was awful. So I get up at some point and kind of like inch my way backwards towards the palm tree. I'm like, Chris, get over here. And he's like, what? And I'm like, all right, so I know I sweat through my pants, but I need you to tell me, how bad is it? And, you know, the bro that he is, he bends down, looks at my ass, and he's like, well, it's so bad that you can't tell that it's butt sweat. It looks like you sat in something. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And then the first dance music comes on.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, no. And so I walk up there and sidle Sarah behind me so nobody can see me. And then we get all posted up. And I'm like, I lean in and I'm like, baby, I'm sweating so bad. I cannot turn you. So we're just going to shuffle right here, right like this, okay? And then I give her one little twirl, and that was the extent of my first dance, because I had so much sweat that I was like, I can't turn, I can't bust out any moves. But yeah, that's my wonderful first dance story.